Oh, well. Yeah. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another segment of the MCR. Mac is to my left. My name is TJ. And in a previous segment, I referenced how my solo had gotten someone's attention regarding the FBI. And I'd like to, someone scoured our history in our previous videos. But you know what? I'm not of the mindset to let sleeping dogs lie. I want to continue on this particular topic, in that, and I'm going to reference Dan Bongino interviewing Kyle Seraphin, and Kyle Seraphin was basically reporting or saying, or during the interview said matter-of-factly, that the FBI was running intelligence gathering missions, surveillance on people, basically an open-ended investigation, and because
in search of a crime.
And I've heard it said by a couple different people now, investigating people in search of a crime instead of investigating a crime in search of a person. Okay.
That's what I said in a recent video on that topic. And just for the record, for those who haven't watched those previous videos, who is Kyle Seraphin?
Kyle Seraphin.
Or Kyle, I'm sorry.
He's the FBI whistleblower that Dan Bongino, he actually contacted Dan Bongino. He heard Dan Bongino on the radio and podcast, because Dan Bongino said, boy, would I like to talk to an FBI whistleblower. Well, Kyle Seraphin contacted him. And that's kind of how the two of them linked up. And Kyle Seraphin did not hold back. Kyle Seraphin is not the only FBI whistleblower. And
by a long shot.
Yeah. And in my recap of that interview, that's where someone took note of us. This little old YouTube channel. Someone took note of this little old YouTube channel. And well, we had to be spanked.
Yes.
So what I wanted to talk about is, the FBI is going after the whistleblowers, because it sounds like,
which is illegal.
Kyle Seraphin, and then there's another one. I don't know the guy's name offhand, but Jim Jordan had material from some of the whistleblowers, and one of the problems is, and Kyle Seraphin touches on this, is because of company servers. If you print something out, it does identify
who printed it. I'm aware of that.
And it doesn't take much for them to figure out. Then they go back to that individual and say, did you go to Jim Jordan or whoever? If they lie, if they deny it, the lie will be discovered, and because they lied, they have no integrity and must be fired.
Well, I'm sure they use some kind of algorithm with the printer to identify keywords or names, in this case, to go after those people.
Yeah. So basically, Kyle Seraphin was saying that if your manager or lead or whoever were to come to you and confront you, did you do this? You're kind of compelled to tell the truth. You're in a catch-22. You're basically screwed.
Well, we condone telling the truth here.
And in my solo, I touched on the hypocrisy of that. So I don't want to rehash a previous video or the interviews that Dan Bongino had with Kyle Seraphin. But the point of it is, these whistleblowers tried to do what was right, and now they're going to suffer for it. It is now being reported that their security clearances have been pulled. They're remaining, and this is where it gets really weird. It is reported they are kept on the payroll, but their security clearances have been pulled, making them inoperable. And so they go into work and they have to sit. And the reason why they're keeping them on the payroll is the FBI is trying to contain the damage. Mm-hmm. Because if they take them off the payroll, then these guys, like Kyle Seraphin, have nothing to lose and commence to spilling the beans. And they're trying to...
And they're going to be on Newsmax. We're going to talk about them. Not that we're putting ourselves with Newsmax, but They're going to be on Fox News. They're going to be everywhere.
Oh yeah, and the FBI isn't liking it. Now, leading me to my ultimate point here, this deep into the video. Now, and if you go to the Gateway Pundit, they had an article about how the FBI agents who took a knee for, and I'm going to say build larger mansions, Bravo, Lima, Mike, okay, BLM, build larger mansions, as Dan Bongino likes to say. There was a group of FBI agents, and there's a picture of it, taking a knee, and Dan Bongino was losing it. These agents are kissing the ass of a Marxist organization.
And we don't say they're a Marxist organization.
They do.
Although we've said it, yeah, but they say it.
They say it on their site.
You know what? Don't believe us, but decide to believe them.
And so, per Kyle Seraphin, the FBI would sooner investigate people who speak out against school boards, people who fly this right here behind us,
or wear this hat, that hat maybe.
Yeah, maybe even the hat I have on. Leadership is really pressing the rank and file to run those intelligence gathering surveillance missions in search of a crime, okay? Then, as opposed to the ones who took a knee for build larger mansions, those ones are being promoted and given favorable treatment.
Right.
And that would be the gist of what I'm trying to convey.
Well, they're probably MAGA, ultra MAGA hater people. And I'll tell you who ought to be worried. I'm going to kind of veer off a little bit, but who ought to be worried? Mitch McConnell. Because I think the source of all this trouble goes back to Merrick Garland. I think Merrick Garland is a butthurt, crybaby bitch.
Yeah.
And he's vindictive. He's the male version of Liz Cheney on steroids. And I would be really worried if I were Cocaine Mitch about what's in my past or who he's married to and what her connections might be. He should be worried.
Well, this particular organization, man, they're just out to get us. When I say us, not necessarily us, we would be included with the us that they're out to get.
Well, they'll certainly get to us sooner or later.
Yeah, and
I suspect that IRS will get us. Because I took a $20 tip and I didn't declare tax or something.
And what I was going to say is this is not exclusive to the FBI. Have it on good authority that this mindset is running throughout multiple federal agencies.
Yeah.
Okay,
EPA. Certainly.
You know what, and you
Homeland
mentioned
Security,
IRS, just multiple federal agencies. They're on the lookout for us.
Yeah.
So that's all I really wanted to convey in this particular segment, and all the more reason that you. I'm not going to say that the Republicans are the ultimate solution, but yeah.
Merrick Garland's got to go.
We need something's got to happen where we get control of this, and it starts with the November elections. Okay,
it's the only place we can start.
That's really the only starting point, and we'll talk more about November elections in an upcoming segment. So with that, I'm going to end with, as always, be safe. Watch your six, and don't tread on me.